mic's not on. Come on. Mic's not on. So uncomfortable watching that scene every time.
We'll do it live.
Oh.
Okay.
Drew, I don't know if you heard me say it, but Signs is streaming on Disney Plus. So if you want to pull it up.
Oh yeah.
I have it playing next to
I do want to pull it up, but I'd have to sign in, so which I could do. But it'll take a second.
I did it. We have a person. There's a person.
That person's me.
Oh,
Nice.
hi, person.
Yeah. Gosh. All right. Anyways, I guess I'll go ahead and do the intro. Do the usual, what have we been watching lately? And then Jimmy Jam will take over from there.
Cool.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and do the intro now. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Banter Fodder podcast. I'm your host, Drew, joined by my co-hosts, Michael Hoover Dam and Jimmy Jam, the Walker, Texas Ranger Man. It's great that I finally didn't say co-hosts again, because that's been happening a lot lately. Anyways, though, gents, what have you guys been watching lately? Jimmy Jam, you weren't here last week, so let's start off with you.
All right, get the list ready.
Dude, not really this time. And in fact, if we had recorded, or if I was on last week, it wouldn't have been a list. I basically, from the 23rd of September all the way up through October 9th, I watched nothing. No movies at all. It was like 2.5 weeks. I felt like I was, I don't know, I was in withdrawals. But I watched like 3 movies on the 10th to try to work my way up to making up for it. So, but the last movie that I had watched before the gap was Drew and I both watched Red River, with John Wayne and what is the name? Actually, I have it right here.
It's Clift something.
Montgomery Clift. That's right. Which I really liked. A really solid, like generally just fun, but still serious Western movie. Continued off of that Western vibe that we had. So I was a fan of that one. That was my first Montgomery Clift movie, and I liked him a lot. This may be super ignorant. I don't know. Maybe this is talked about a lot. I'm sure it is. Like, to me, it felt like he was kind of pre-James Dean. Like there was kind of a less of like the kind of typical Hollywood lead feel from him, and a lot more of the just kind of like naturalistic youth feel to him that I liked a lot. And then on the 10th, I watched Tron Ares, which I saw it in the theater. First movie back to the theater. Still haven't seen the new PTA, and I've seen.
I'm going tomorrow.
I'm jealous.
Heck yeah.
It was. I gave it 2.5 because the 9 Inch Nails score goes hard. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are just so good. And they got some original songs on there too that are really cool.
So basically 2 of the stars are just for them.
Yes. Awesome. Also, the cinematography really is really pretty. And the thing that surprised me about it is if you had told me that it was shot or it was like done by Gareth Edwards just directing a bad script, I kind of would have believed you, because there's a sense of scale and scope in it that kind of took me by surprise on the big screen. There would just be some shots where I'm like, oh, okay,
Hello.
like that's pretty cool.
And this is from the director who did Pirates 5 and
Yeah.
like some other Disney
So-
movie that.
So the best
you know,
one.
was- Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
And then there was a bit of like some of the action actually was pretty cool. Where I'm like, hey, this is not just hey look cool motorcycle. It's like yeah, cool motorcycle doing cool things, and the camera and editing are doing cool things, and so there's all of that. Unfortunately, okay, so Greta Lee, who we all loved in past lives, is awful in this.
What?
Awful. She's so bad.
Dang.
She gives all of her line readings like this. We need to get the compartmentalizer to hurry up, and we're going to have to shoot the inoculator injection at
They
Ares
Natalie
before-
Portman her?
They did. She is
Oh, no.
terrible. She is just so bad in this. And like, I had to be like, am I seeing right? Does she have a twin? What's going on? Like, I had to confirm it after the fact. And I'm like, that was Greta Lee. Why was she so bad? And just it's got pretty dreadful dialogue in general. You've got your comedic relief friend that the movie is like, please laugh at him. Please find him funny. And I'm like, oh no, it's not funny. It's just not funny. So you're basically just sitting through like characters that are just like really not very good, through a lot of bad dialogue, but with some really cool music and some really cool visuals. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the Tron thoughts from me. And then after that, so I've been reading through William Peter Blatty's Exorcist, or like horror faith trilogy, and it's made me want to rewatch The Exorcist. And then with my brother and my dad, we watched the first Exorcist again, which is so good, such a freaking phenomenal movie. And then I watched for the first time The Exorcist 3, which was written and directed by William Peter Blatty himself. And he's got like a cool, distinct style. It's almost Lynchian in that like there's just really weird, quirky, mundanity to it. He is not trying to ape Friedkin's style. This is a stylistically big departure. And it's got a really fun, but really, really like it's really fun, but it is really, really smart, really thoughtful. Unfortunately, it was the victim of a lot of studio mandates, a lot of stuff shoved into the third act because they're like, make it more like the first one. And so literally like whole cloth characters were inserted at the very end. And you're like, what is this? This is a new movie. And it was very frustrating. And it was very schlocky, which really didn't fit well with the rest of the movie. And the thing is, it's a kind of schlock that I like in other movies. It just feels so incongruous with this movie. There is a director's cut. Unfortunately, apparently a lot of the footage is like just the raw footage. And so you're going between like polished, movie look to like home video movie look. So I want to watch it at some point just to try to get a better idea of what his movie was supposed to be. As it stands, I really like it, but it is definitely held back because, I mean, he was basically forced to like contradict himself thematically in the movie and just kind of undermine his own, like what he was trying to spiritually do with the film. And so it's an unfortunate thing, but overall I still really enjoyed it.
Cool. Okay. I definitely want to watch it because I've heard good things. And you gave it 3.5 stars, right?
Yeah, I really liked it. There's some really good conversations, really good performances. and it is famous. It's actually generally pretty well liked. It's considered kind of like a cult classic within the horror community. Like it has some big fans, and it's famous for a particular jump scare. It's got one particular like all-time jump scare. So
Heck yeah. I should definitely watch it for spooky season. Michael, what have you been watching?
Not much, y'all. So last couple of weeks have been crazy for me as well. I did, James, I did have a few to talk about last week, but I didn't this time. I really just have one other than the movie we're talking about tonight. And that movie is The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan.
Heck yeah.
No, my wife the other night had an idea. She's like, "What if we?" So I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, right?
Oh yeah,
I've never seen it.
Wow! Oh my gosh,
it's a banger.
I like it. Nancy Meyers is a director I really appreciate. This is like early her, but I think it's a comfort movie for me. I grew up on it. It's super nostalgic. But I do think genuinely it's mostly really good. My wife had an idea the other night. The one of the girls in the movie, her favorite meal is cornbread and chili. So my wife was like, "What if we make cornbread and chili and watch The Parent Trap?" It's like, okay, sounds good. So we did a movie themed dinner and watched The Parent Trap. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
I really love that movie. It's like it's not a 5-star or anything. I have it at 3.5 stars because it's like super enjoyable. But it's also you can tell like if she had like you could tell she probably had some mandates, like it has to be this amount of time. It flies through some stuff. But when it is there, when it just does actually have room to breathe, it's actually really touching and really sweet and fun. Lindsay Lohan's acting debut, and she was actually pretty good. So and I think it's genuinely really funny. There's a lot of really funny stuff in there. So yeah, I like this movie a lot. It is a staple at my house. We will watch it at least once a year, probably, just because it's
with cornbread and chili.
Now I actually like that. Let's do it every year. I haven't done that before, but yeah, I like the idea. Let's do it every fall. Get out the cornbread and chili. But yeah, other than that, it's just I think I watched like a couple episodes of New Girl or something. Like my brain has not had any space to take up with watching anything else. I did play. I started. No, I didn't start. I just picked up where I left off last time with Mario Odyssey, playing through Mario Odyssey again. What a banger! It's so good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean that's it.
Yeah, I didn't watch much either. So I watched an actual 5-star film, live action Scooby-Doo, written by James Gunn.
Oh,
I haven't watched this in years and years and years. But I freaking love this movie. It's so dumb. It's genuinely funny, and the cast is like honestly perfect. I think like just the core Mystery Inc. cast is so good. Also, Mr. Bean being a character in it, fire. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a really fun movie, and the like creepy ghost like monster that they're chasing after at the beginning of the film, that thing looks terrifying. So they went all out with like the spooky levels too. But yeah, really fun movie. An amazing plot twist at the end. 10 out of 10, 5 stars.
I remember seeing that in the theater and having such a good time.
Yeah,
and developing a major crush on both Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sierra Miller.
Real. Yeah, it's great. And Matthew Lillard, dude, he's one of the all-time greats. He's so good, and he's like literally perfect as Shaggy. It's insane.
Can't picture anyone playing Shaggy better. I genuinely can't.
Yeah, it'll never happen. But yeah, because I rewatched that, I've also started rewatching what's new Scooby-Doo, which that's the one that has the Simple Plan version of the theme. And I grew up watching, like, you know, all the like classic Scooby-Doo's, but I also grew up watching this one.
Same.
And it goes hard. I watched an episode I'm pretty sure it's in the first season. I think it's like the 4th episode. And it's literally like an adaptation of Christine, the Stephen King novel, and the mystery machine is like living and chasing after them. It's so good. Scooby Talk on the Signs episode. Yes, sir.
Also, hey Curry, if you're still here.
Hey Curry. Hey Ryan. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching. I've also been playing Battlefield 6. I played through the campaign of that. Story is mid, but man, that game is awesome.
That's about par for the course for Battlefield campaigns.
Yeah. Battlefield 3's campaign, though, like, I don't know. It's not like the greatest thing ever, but it is leaps and bounds better than this one. And then I've also been playing some Ghost Yote, and that's fantastic too. But yeah, let's jump into science. No more Scooby talk, or we could just talk about Scooby the whole time. So Jimmy Jam here is going to be leading the discussion. So James, why don't you kick things off?
All right. So I'm pretty sure, I think in our posts, we've already kind of given things away. We all love this movie.
Shocker.
Yeah.
We're talking about a movie we love? What?
Yeah. But like, there's no mixed thoughts, I think, among the three of us. I think it's just pretty much effusive love between us all.
In fact, we're going to be pushing back against the mixed thoughts.
Yes, there's nothing mixed for me on this film. I'm ready for the rest of cinephilia to kind of fully get back on board Shyamalan, because he opened up with 3 masterpieces in my mind, followed it up with still a really, really good movie. And yeah, we've got some mid after that. And so, okay, I'll be honest, some really bad.
Really, really bad.
Really, really bad. But he's now on like a spree of really flawed but really fun movies.
And also a really good show. Like, I've only seen the first season of Servant, but it's good.
I heard good things about that one.
It's very good. Yeah.
And so I think he's kind of in his new sweet spot, which is basically just pumping out some of the most interesting 3.5 out of 5 star movies that hit the theaters every year. And what I find really, and we're going to have to talk obviously about Shyamalan in this episode. So I guess just to talk about him real quick, I think what annoys me with the response to him a lot of the time is it's like, we've carved out a space in film that's basically like conventional and acceptable mediocrity, where it's like you can be mediocre as long as you're mediocre in recognizable conventional ways. This is how you write a bad joke, this is how you do this is and if it gets you out, a 3.5, just kind of down to 2.5, 3, whatever, this is the acceptable way to do that. And then Shyamalan comes along and it's like, he's really flawed, but he's very unconventional and he's very unique in his style. And he's bucking convention a lot, and he's writing dialogue that nobody else would write. And it's like, cinephile fans get mad at him for it. I'm like, are we just, I don't know. I find it really frustrating. I think his movies should be championed. Even his newer ones.
And it's weird. Like, I never really understood the dialogue thing, because like their whole thing is like, nobody talks like that. But Aaron Sorkin is he's praised for his
Sometimes
dialogue.
prayed.
Yeah. He's praised for his dialogue, and it's not realistic, it's stylized. And then you've got like a lot of other well-known writers or directors who have stylized dialogue. They're given a free pass for that.
Well, and in ways, I don't want to oversell every, like, he can write some dialogue that is like, I remember seeing Old, and there are some conversations in Old that I'm like, that was I really like the movie, but it's but I do think overall, yeah, there is just a kind of like a funny, simplistic kind of earnestness to it. It reminds me sometimes of like Raimi's Spider-Man dialogue, like
Mhm.
like to me the line of like, you look taller, I hunch, like that could have been that could have just straight up been
I love that line.
I do too, but it's Shyamalan in that same way, and I think even now sometimes people have a hard time understanding what to do with the Raimi Spider-Man kind of earnest tone. But anyways, to bring it back to this particular movie, I think that this is a movie that just marries all of his exceptional craftsmanship with all of his idiosyncrasies in the best way. All of his quirky dialogue is here. It's not dialed down. It's here up front and center, but it's just constantly working at every corner. He's directing the ever-living crap out of this. I think this is such a phenomenally made movie. And this cast is so good. This is one of the most likable casts for me ever. And so, yeah, I think that this movie is just it's doing all of the Shyamalan things at their best. So I've kind of monologued a bit, but I think the first question that I want to ask, well, I guess it's the one that makes sense, is to just what is y'all's history on it? When this first came out, were y'all fans, and has y'all's relationship with it ebbed and flowed as his reputation kind of changes, or what's that look like?
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw this in theaters, but I remember watching it probably on VHS back in the day, at home, with my family, and I had seen it like, I don't know, maybe like a few times before, and it scared me as a kid, but I also really liked it a lot. And I hadn't watched it for years and years, and it wasn't until like a few years ago, I think, where I finally rewatched it, and I was like, man, this has been missing from my life for far, far too long, because it's incredible, for all the points that you hit, and James Newton Howard's score. Oh man,
An all-timer.
perfection. And I also really love the way this film is shot too.
Yes.
Cinematography is fantastic. I'm blanking on the cinematographer's name, so I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I can look that up if you want to continue.
I got it actually.
Okay.
Tak Fujimoto. And I think he frequently collaborated. He collaborated with M. Night a few times.
Did he do Unbreakable? Because Unbreakable is also
No, he didn't do Unbreakable. He did The Sixth Sense, and he also did The Happening, which is pretty amazing. But this guy, you know what else he did?
Cinematography's not the issue with The Happening.
Yeah. You know what else he did? He did Silence of the Lambs.
Oh,
and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Wow, that's amazing.
This guy,
legit.
Yeah, he definitely has a great. He also did Terrence Malick's Badlands, so he's done a lot of like really good stuff. He's a Japanese. I think he was born in America, but he's Japanese cinematographer. which is neat because I was watching like a behind the scenes thing earlier before we started the stream, and M. Night, when he was like talking about when he wrote this film and the films that he wrote before this, he was like, I want to write something that is like central. Like I always want to write a theme that's central, universal, that anyone can pick up on. And like the first few countries that he said was India, because that's where M. Night's family is from. And then he mentioned Japan, which I'm assuming is probably because the cinematographer is Japanese, and then also the US and like a couple other places. But he was like, I want to write stories that always like anyone from anywhere can, it's simple and universal enough that anyone can pick up on it, which I think is why like Signs and everything leading up to that is great, because they are kind of like these simple themes, but because of how simple they are, they just shine through like these stories that he's writing, and like the thrills and the scares that happen in each of them. And I think like that, for me, what I love about Signs the most, I think, are the themes. And that goes from everything with like faith to family, and then also like the paranoia of having like an alien invasion. I'm sure we've talked about it before, but I love alien invasion movies. I'm a sucker for Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, but I also really love the original War of the Worlds. And there's another alien invasion movie that I'm blanking on.
Independence Day.
No.
You stop it.
I actually do really need to watch that.
Yes, you do.
Just so I can definitively have the correct opinion. But the alien invasion stuff, all of those things together, that's what makes this like just fantastic for me. And I said it to you guys in our group chat last week, I think, when I rewatched this, but I love movies that are set on farms or barns or ranches. Too. There's just something about it that is so cozy. Even Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, I'm just kidding. But there's something like, just, I don't know. I feel like some of my favorite films, a lot of my favorite films, have been set on a farm or a barn or a ranch. And I think there's just something
Friday the
about
13th Part 3.
Yes, exactly. What a great movie. Minari,
Interstellar, Superman.
Exactly. Yeah, there's something about it that I really connect with. And man, you get some cool shots being on this, like in this setting, in this movie. The crop circle stuff, so good. But yeah, that's I went a long period of time without watching this movie again. But now, like, I mean, since I rewatched it a few years ago, it's become a yearly rewatch for me. So I just love this movie.
What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I have seen this movie a bunch of times at this point, but it's kind of weird. So I loved it back when I started watching it, because I kind of came onto this and The Village at around the same time. It was like I was dipping my toe into scary-ish. I didn't do horror. I never have, even now. Like I'm a noob with horror. And so this is not horror, but even just a little scary was like, a big deal for me as a, what I guess I would have been. I don't think I saw this the year it came out, but I probably was like 14 or 15 when I saw it. And I remember I remember how I felt watching the birthday party scene. And just the terror of that. it didn't traumatize me, but it stuck with me big time. But I remembered it, like I probably saw it like 10 times back then, like just because I was kind of obsessed with that and The Village. And I still love The Village. The Village is great. But over the years, M. Night has done a lot of, and honestly, I haven't seen a lot of it. I've seen a few of them for sure. I probably haven't seen a new movie of his in about a decade at least. But
Whoa.
yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that he's done since I saw Split. That was the last one I saw. Yeah. So
Split
I need
is
to
really good too.
definitely need to watch some of his newer stuff for sure. I'm super interested in it. But over that time, I just kind of didn't, not on purpose, but I just didn't watch Signs I don't think at all. Until last year, because we covered The Village on the podcast, and I watched that and I was like, I want to watch another one. Let's watch Signs. And I watched it and was like, what is wrong with me? Why have I not been watching this movie for the past 20 years or whatever? Because as a teenager, the movie hit me in a lot of the surface level ways that are great. The movie is tense. It's dramatic. It is funny. We're going to talk about the humor a lot tonight. I think it's genuinely hilarious, in a good way. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie, but I never really got the depth of it until the last time I watched it. Well, not this week, but last year when I watched it, and then this time again when I watched it last week. This is not an original take by any means, but this is not a sci-fi movie to me. This is a family drama that just so happens to have alien invasion sprinkled in. And it is like the family drama, what's the main character's name? I should have IMDb pulled up in front of me. Graham. Graham's struggle with, his faith and his loss of faith and the loss of his wife and the flashbacks, the flashbacks we keep getting to that, mixed with the tension of this potential invasion happening or whatever, mixed with the, how his kids see him and how his brother sees him, and them all coming together. It is such a powerful story, about finding faith and refinding faith. And I legit cried multiple times in this movie, and not just like a single tear thing. Like that last scene, I really did cry, for like real cry. But I adore this movie. I think it is, like you guys covered it. The cinematography is incredible. From a technical standpoint, I think this movie is, I don't know of anything that I would change about it. I legitimately don't have, like, with The Village, I love it, but I had one major hang up. At least I think I had two hang ups actually, about that one. And but everything else was great. This one, it's like, I honestly don't know. I don't think I would. I love the weird characters that were introduced, the townspeople, the sheriff, the weird general. That general, or whoever, not general, but the person who's recruiting for the armed services, armed forces, he is one of them. I'm fully convinced he is one of the aliens. That guy's weird, but I love the guy that was like, the shop owner that was like, this is all about selling sodas. 13.
We say that all the time.
He's hilarious. I love I actually thought M. Night himself was really, really good in the movie.
Yeah.
Really good. I love that he gave himself such an integral role, and he crushed it. and I love the ending. I can't wait to talk about it. I really can't. So I adore this movie on such a deeper level than I did as a teenager when I first watched it. I think I don't know. Mel Gibson has a lot of really good roles. This might be my favorite of his.
It's my
because
favorite
it's so powerful. But that is saying something because he's really done a lot of really great work. So I'd have to think about it. But this is one of them for sure. Definitely the one that is, I think, cut to the core of me the most. So yeah, we'll talk about other stuff, but
as a parent,
this movie,
we'll allow it in this case.
We better.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, this is one that, like, when this first came out, my older siblings immediately, like, they saw it in the theater, they loved it. So when this came out to own, we bought it. And so my first viewing was from home. Because I guess I would have been 7. So yeah, it was from home, and it became just a family favorite. We watched it and watched it and watched it and showed people, and it's never really left my life. I may have gone spurts of, like, having not seen it for, like, 4 years, but I don't know that I've ever really gone super far beyond that without a rewatch. But even with that being said, it is one where, kind of like what you were alluding to, really what both of y'all were alluding to, which is, at first, especially with our age, when we first watched it, that was a scary movie. That was fun. That part spooked me. That was fun. I can't wait to show my friends and see which parts they jump at. Like, that's what it is, and it's great. And I love the characters. It's definitely not that I didn't love the characters. I loved everything that, like, my brain was prepared to enjoy at that time. Enjoyed. So enjoy it. I also quote that all the time from the dinner table. But anyways, so yeah, like, it's one, though, that as I rewatched it growing older, literally just rewatch after rewatch, I fall more and more in love with it. And there are certain things about it that just makes me think, this is my favorite version of this thing. This is, and I think I mentioned this in the chat, this is my favorite cinematic family ever. I care about this group of 4 people so much. I am so emotionally invested in them and their love for each other, in my desire to see them make it through the night, and what they mean to each other. There is just so much beautiful, tender dialogue between them. It's really funny, but it's also really, really sweet, and really, really, like, it really gets me. So yeah, I love literally everything about this movie. So to start off the conversation in earnest, I want to highlight a thing that really sticks out to me, which is, world building feels like the wrong word. I think I've mentioned something similar when we talked about Jaws, where it's like, it's not world building because it's a real recognizable place, but it's just like, dropping my phone. But so it's not world building because it's just creating a recognizable place, but it's doing it so well. It's like fully realizing a place that has that feels lived in and real. And so I don't know, maybe it's place setting. I don't know what the term would be, but one of my favorite things about this movie is how it feels like this was a real place long before I press play. I think it adds, like, the sense of history and all the quirky characters adds to a feeling of coziness I have with this movie. Like, it's so easy to turn this movie on, to get the funny dialogue with the sheriff. I think one of the funniest lines is, "I don't want any of you spending time alone with Stacey Abernathy. Do you hear me?" Like, that line kills me. So yeah, I kind of want to start by just talking about how this movie creates a sense of place and history with this cast of characters. Is there anything? Um, am I alone in feeling this with this movie? I guess is the opening question. Is there something that stands out for y'all that feels different, or does it feel like, I mean, this feels like a movie town in the way any other movie town in a movie feels?
No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. When I think you said it well too. It feels like it drops you into a place that already exists really well. It's not necessarily creating Naboo or something like, or even political structure or anything like that. It is just dropping you into this town, and it feels like, okay, so people have lived here for a long time, and oh, okay, so he used to be a father,
Yeah.
like, a reverend. He used to be a reverend, even like to the point where like you see this like faded cross on the wall where a cross used to be, but it's not
Yeah.
there anymore.
Great.
Yeah, and then like that, I caught something too this time I never noticed until this time, and I thought that is so brilliant. But when one of the dogs is
The veterinarian thing.
yeah, the veterinarian thing,
Yes.
he didn't want to call the vet because of who the vet was.
Yeah.
But I never picked up on that before this watch, and I was like, that's incredible. Like that
Yes.
right there is world building, and it tells a lot about the character, but you don't know that really at first. You're like, why wouldn't you just call the vet? That's weird. And so then you realize when it shows that mailbox when you arrive at his house,
that's the only answer you get is
that's
just it's on the mailbox.
veterinarian
so
or whatever, and it's like, whoa, wow, that's I just was floored this time when I watched that. But yeah, the town, the farm itself, and I do love too, like it builds it out so well that you have to believe it for a movie to. This is an alien invasion movie, kind of. For you to buy this, you have to buy the town that they're in, but you also have to buy the family and their history. And what's crazy is this is an alien invasion movie, but it really is just centered around this family. It's from their perspective, really only, for the most part. Like obviously, you have that one day you go into town, but the rest of it is at the farm or at the veterinarian's house. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Ray. It's at Ray's house. But that's really where most of the movie is. I love that. But yeah, I like to get back to what you were saying. I think that it just drops you right in, and everything is fully believable, super lived in, and they make it look awesome. I think you brought it up when we were talking about the day we started all talking about this, when we were really excited about doing the podcast on it. The overhead shot of the town as the car is driving in. It's like, this is awesome. This is made with the sauce, as we say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really enjoy that we don't stay in the house the entire movie. I'm a huge sucker for like really contained movies, claustrophobic stuff, and it does that in this film, no doubt. But there's just something about like the scale that it adds to the movie when you do get to go into the town, when you do get to the vet's house. And I also think that some of the best like character moments are when they're leaving the house, and you get like some of the best reveals, or you get some of the best like character growth, to just kind of like get a glimpse of the lives that they're living outside of their farm. There's just something about that works really well for me. I'm gonna probably keep mentioning it throughout the episode, but because I watched the behind the scenes thing, M. Night was talking about how he originally wanted to just have the entire movie contained in the house. And he referenced the original War of the Worlds. He mentioned Night of the Living Dead, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I think it was the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Those were the three where he was like, I kind of wanted to do that. And he was like, if I had made the movie, you know, a few years before than when I did, I probably would have just done that. But he was just he kept talking about how, you know, like creating the town, the scene with the town and with the vet's house, how that just, you know, like the way he was describing it is just the way that you would describe talking about world building, like we were talking about before. And I think that like all of the great family dramas, I feel like, you know, even no matter how contained the story is, if you kind of see all aspects of their lives, not just when they're at home, but when they're out of the house, what is the dynamic like? How do they interact with each other when they're out of the house compared to when they're in the home? There's just something about that I think is just great writing, not only from like, you know, like a scale perspective or like a world building perspective, but also just like the characters themselves. And I think that's like a huge part of the reason why I love this film in particular, because the characters, the family is so believable for me because we get to see them in different settings.
Yeah. It brings out it just forcing them, because, you know, they're all living in the aftermath of this tragedy. And so just that kind of forcing them back out into the world really brings out a lot of interesting things just about how they're living in ways that you wouldn't really see if they were only isolated. So, and it is, what's amazing is we really don't spend a ton of time outside of the house, but like my memory and just general, like the feelings and memories I associate with the town are so, like, I don't know, they feel like they outweigh their limited runtime for me in a good way. Where like, to the point where this is like the first question that I wanted to ask is if y'all felt the same way, because, you know, yeah, we get and it's not one scene. Everybody kind of goes off and does their thing. Everybody gets their scene with somebody out there. But it's just that sequence of scenes is just, it always sticks with me because it convinces me that this was a real place. And something that Shyamalan, I mean, really always kind of commits to is he doesn't, I was going to say he doesn't write small parts. If he writes small parts, he doesn't cast for small parts and he doesn't direct for small parts. Because I think every single face that shows up on screen and has a line in this movie is iconic. Like every single, starting off with the sheriff. I love the sheriff. I love her. I think her first scene is so funny, which is like some lady came from out of town and she was spitting all over the skateboards. Spitting. Monologuing and then ending with, so what happened to your crops? Like, I laugh every time.
That's the quirky M. Night dialogue right there. Like,
it is.
What happened to your crops? With nothing said between.
It doesn't add to the plot. It doesn't add to it's there because he's like, I like writing for characters. Writing for these funny characters is fun. And it's part of my DNA as an artist. And I'm glad for that. And we really do get some good, again, like kind of history building with her calling him father, and him asking her not to call him that. It immediately lets you know, okay, something's going on. I've noticed there's not a wife in the picture. What's happened here? the brother is living next door. What's going on? Like, you get a lot of that really great stuff. So I think the sheriff is great, and she has, anytime she's there, all of her lines are so funny. I think the line from Joaquin Phoenix when he's like, "All right, so like excluding the possibility that a female Scandinavian Olympian was on our roof last night. What's our options?" And her line back, she's like, "I don't appreciate the sarcasm." And she gets that really dramatic moment, like the flashback, where I think she's really good.
She is.
Like, she is struggling to have to tell her priest what's happened.
Yeah.
Just that, and she don't feel much, but like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is tough, man. This is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't think it stops with her. I think the general, like you said, nobody's going to forget, or whatever he is. Nobody. Well, there's a little. It's an invasion.
It's an invasion.
Like, nobody's going to forget him. And even like Lionel Pritchard, which I think is another great, like, again, sense of history, where you keep hearing, like, is this Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers? Is this Lionel Pritchard? Is this Lionel? It's like, who the heck is Lionel Pritchard? And then we see him at one point, and I remember him. And of course, like you said, the store owners. I think Tracy, the pharmacist.
I love those pharmacy
funny.
Scene.
Yeah. So which? I mean, for me, they're all kind of stand out, but. Are there some of these scenes where we're kind of out and about and just getting to hear the town come alive that stand out?
I know it's super goofy, but I love the scene with the general, or whatever rank he is.
That's the one for me too. It's so weird.
It's got really, really funny dialogue, but also you learn so much about Meryl, Joaquin's character. You learn that he was a former baseball player. He wants to join the military. He feels like he's kind of, I don't know, like washed out or something like that. And you just get that in that one scene, and I feel like it recontextualizes like everything about his character beforehand, and then also you just kind of get like a better understanding of who he is moving forward. So I really like that about it. But then also it's just got like some like just weird dialogue, but it's so good. Like the way that the general is like, he's like, it's called probing.
Yeah.
It's a military procedure. You send in a reconnaissance group, very small, to check things out, not to engage, but to evaluate the situation, evaluate the level of danger, make sure things are all clear. Yeah, like just the way he speaks is so good.
For the rest of them.
Clear for what? For the rest of them. And then also the line that he has about sucking toes or whatever. I was just like, what is happening?
You be sucking the toes off on strippers or something?
No, shouldn't you getting your toes licked by beautiful women? Come on.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. I literally laugh out loud. I'm like, what is happening? But it's so good. Like, it's weird dialogue like that really works for me, because it doesn't feel like, I feel like when you're making characters, when you're writing these characters, the easy thing that can happen when you're writing is that you insert yourself while you're writing, like even the side characters. But because like they're so weird and quirky and they say weird things, I believe it. I'm like, yeah, this is a weird general who Michael thinks is one of them. But
he is.
But it's like, yeah, you look at him, he's completely different than Tracy in the pharmacy. He's completely different than the store owner. And that's like part of the reason why it's so believable for me. Like, yeah, what they're saying is completely nonsense, but it works in the context of the film.
But it also does kind of, I mean, he's telling you kind of what they're doing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Like,
he's right.
I'm talking
dead.
talking about the sucking toes part. That's
Right, yeah,
that's that's the weird thing.
No, but he's yes, weird and saying a bunch of weird stuff and looking weird. I swear he's one of them, but he's also like, yeah, he's telling us kind of what they're doing in a weird way. So there's stuff like that through the movie too. That, I mean, you got him doing that. You have them reading the book,
Dr.
and, like,
Bimbo.
yeah, like getting information.
I think that's enough from Dr. Bimbo tonight.
But like when they look at that page, that is it looks like their house,
Dude,
and
I get chills.
Got the three of them laying dead on the ground. I'm like, this is creepy stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. They use certain things to tell you what might be going on.
Yeah.
And even if they're not explicitly saying this is definitely what they're doing, and then they use the news really well too in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I agree.
Everything they write in history books is about to change.
Yeah. But Drew,
I love that so much. Oh man.
But Drew, I agree with you. He's definitely hands down the one that stands out the most to me, even though I also really love the others. Particularly 13.
I've been counting them. 12 soda commercials.
It's all to sell sodas.
It's so good. It's like, and the thing is, I'm all about just putting things in a movie just for the sake of the texture of it. And I think all of this is just such good texture for the film. Just things to stick out in your brain. You know, when you recall signs, you know, maybe Tracy the pharmacist comes to mind and makes you laugh. Like, it's just those little things to latch onto. But yeah, there's a lot of really good plot stuff happening in it. And just even now thinking about what the scene with Meryl there, considering enlisting, like we never have a line. We never have a moment where Meryl sits down and says, you know, I'm 30 years old and I'm living across from my brother and I can't find anything to make of my life. And you don't get that. Mm-hmm. What you do get is you find out he was super talented, but you know, he had a very critical flaw as a baseball player. You see that he is living or he's living on the same property in a separate house at his brother's place. Again, no line made of it, you know, nothing. It's there for you to note, you know, hey, he's living there. That might speak to where he's at in life, where his brother's at in life. Mm-hmm. And so when you just piece together, okay, this is an unmarried guy, probably 30 years old or you know, or thereabouts. And you know, got a failed baseball career. And now he is just kind of leafing through army pamphlets. You just painted an entire picture of a person right there. And I just think that's super, super strong writing. And again, like that extends throughout so much of this, like going back to Tracy the pharmacist, where we get more of, you know, like he keeps asking people to stop calling him father, and yet whenever he's in front of her, she's like, I just need to cleanse my conscience. Like, she can't shake that image. And again, it's doing exactly what the other one did, that other scene did, which is it's telling us a lot about things, and then it is just indulging in very weird, funny dialogue. Is douchebag a curse word? Depends on the context. What about Lindsay, you're a douchebag for kissing Steve? That's a curse word. And then when she says, then it's not, you know, 17, it's 87. And just the way the guy peeks out from behind Graham. It's
so good.
And the cut from that too. I don't want anybody spending time alone with Tracy. It's and then in that scene, there's also, whenever they see Ray Redding, there's that line of dialogue where it's Abigail Breslin, right, who asks, "Is that him?" Mm-hmm. Which kind of tells you, you know, this has happened for some amount of time. She's super young, so like a year is, a lot. But it tells you that this has happened long enough ago where, she kind of has to be reminded, maybe this is a couple, if she's like 6, maybe she's 4, a while ago. And so she's kind of had to grow up being told about a lot of this. So again, we don't get, it's been 2 years since blah, blah, blah. It's just, they have the fact that, they have to remind or let the youngest one know that, yes, that was the guy. So that kind of tells you that, okay, so this wasn't a 2 weeks ago thing, this was long enough that they've had to find a new way of living for quite a while. And so I don't know. I think all that to say, this is an aspect of science that I just freaking love. I love all of these people. I think all of them are iconic. And I think in addition to just being funny interactions, they support the story at home. They tell us, like, we know more about Meryl after that sequence than we did before. We know more about all of this stuff. And I just think that's really, really great writing.
Agreed.
I also want to talk, I don't know how long this will last, but I also want to talk about this movie as a scary movie and thriller. I love horror films, and I'm going to go on record and say I do think that this is a scary movie.
Yeah.
One, if scary movies are just something to quantify, like when you have, there's the roof scene, that's the scene that got me the most as a child because of how out of left field it was. Yeah. Because when he peeks under the pantry, when he's out in the cornfield, when they're watching the video, it's prompting you. I'm within a scary scene, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I know that this is scary scene. I'm in it. And whenever he's just having a conversation with his daughter about the loss of their mom and the fact that she still tries to talk to her, and it's the line where she's like, does she answer you? No, baby, she doesn't answer me either. Like that scene, it's like, this is a tender scene. This is great dialogue. So when he looks up and it just hard cuts to that thing standing on the roof, that terrified me as a kid. That effed me up bad. I was like,
it also happens like pretty early in the film too.
Yeah.
Like for some reason I was like, oh, I feel like this happens like 30 minutes in, but it's like 10, 15 minutes in the movie.
Well, it's crazy too. It does it does tip you off in a sneaky way because she tells her dad, there's a monster out my window.
Can I have a glass of water?
Can I have a glass of water? She was right.
Yeah. But you're not really processing that.
And you just think, oh, she's just a little girl thinking there's a monster out the window. Like, okay, that's normal.
And she thinks her water is weird. So.
Yeah. So but then, you're right. That scene just hits you out of nowhere.
Yeah. So to me, if you were to just count it, it's like there's the window scene, there's the hand under the pantry door, there's the TV scene, the TV shot, whenever or obviously the home video, and then I think whenever he just turns around and he sees the foot walking through the cornfield, he drops we're this is a lot of we're not just full on the intention was to make you jump. This happens quite a bit, and for me, again, despite the hundreds of scary movies I've seen, this movie still kind of gets me at some of these parts. And even if I'm not jumping, I'm still kind of getting that chill feeling of oh man, that's still a good one. That's still solid. So I do think that it really does work as a scary movie because it's hit you quite a few times.
It's got a lot of the textbook horror film things in that way. Yeah. Honestly, dude, this is elevated horror before it even existed. M. Night was ahead of the game. But yeah, I This movie is also like, it's actually still scary to me too. I think like even just like the vibe it gets of the alien invasion is really creepy too. Like the stuff on the TV, and like even, which I guess we'll have to talk about in a second. Even the scene where they're getting the signal on the baby monitor.
Yes.
Amazing scene, and we'll talk about it in a second. But even like the way that the aliens are communicating with each other, that's creepy. Like,
Yep.
it's like an uplifting and like happy scene, but it's also like
the
really
score
creepy.
going hard
Yeah.
in that scene. Holy cow.
Unbelievable stuff. But yeah, okay, that scene in particular though.
Why
That's
can't
one of
they
my
get
favorites.
girlfriends?
Again, it's so funny.
This is what the nerds want.
Like, oh man, that whole sequence is perfect. The way the camera moves from the car to outside and panning around and like, man,
just the still image of them holding him up and Morgan holding it up towards the screen
so fantastic.
Is like, oh, I love it. You know, Meryl is kind of making fun of it the whole time, and then whenever Graham moves, like, no, you'll lose the signal.
And I like it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like leading up to this, you know, Graham, he was like being very dismissive about like the alien stuff, like especially the book. But then after the scene happens, it's like the family is like all together again, and after that, that's when they all go like all in on the like alien stuff, and they're wearing the tinfoil hats and everything like that.
Graham is still doubting it after this scene, I think. But because it's not super real for him until he goes to Ray's house.
Yeah, that's right, because that's whenever he comes back and he sees them wearing the hats, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it was like the catalyst to kind of like lead
for
to
sure.
that.
He was questioning things for sure, but he was definitely still like, you know, he was fighting it. But once
I've got a paddy wagon out back.
I love him coming in there like talking like a cheesy cop from a movie.
Don't throw your life away, son.
We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. Good. But yeah, that scene is incredible. It is so like, it's epic. It's like,
it really is.
It really is. It gives me all the feels. And then, I like the baby monitor throughout the movie coming back in and out, you know, as a tool.
Kind of ruined baby monitors for people, I think. I remember the DVD, the menu was just a close up on the baby monitor, and you would just hear the just like be like, dude, okay, turn it off, turn the TV off, guys. The movie's over. We gotta.
Incredible. No, you're right though. I do think this movie is scarier than people give it credit for. All those scenes that you mentioned, I also want to put into the mix just the situation of, you know, the aliens arriving onto their farm, walking around their house while they're in the dark basement.
So good.
And you see that, and
hearing the wind chimes whenever they brush up against it.
Yep. And then they both meet at this point, and they see Morgan against the wall.
Oh,
and the hand touches his shoulder.
And
then they cut away from it and show the flashlight on the floor. But you don't see, you just hear struggle. You hear wrestling or what's going on. And then the next time we see anything is when, I guess it was not Graham's the dad. Meryl picks up the flashlight and shines it over, and you see the Morgan having an asthma attack. Like that is like the way that they handled that to me was like incredible, because you go from this one like horrifying moment, and then you're like, wait, what's happening? And then he's having an asthma attack.
Yeah.
It's just like this one thing after another. And then the way that the asthma attack is used for Graham's character there too, because that how he I don't want to get too ahead, but the way that he says I hate you,
Yeah.
which is actually like interesting because it's growth for him, because he's actually acknowledging that there is someone there.
Yeah.
As opposed to earlier in the movie when he was the other kind of person that he described. So like he was already there's growth a little bit there, even though it's like, oh, I don't ever want to hear you talk like that again, kind of thing. You know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But that moment was genuinely freaky.
It's so, because again, it's one of those ones where you're like, oh, I know something's about to happen, and then when you rewatch it, you're like, oh my gosh, I see the hand, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. I had thought originally, but that's such a great moment. Was also thinking of the moment whenever they first arrive and he's walking across the porch, and you can hear where he's walking, and you can kind of see the light, like whenever the shadow as he moves past the window, and then the wind chimes rustling because he just brushes up against them. And then just the whole situation, like them, they're not trying to break in, they're just testing, you know, and so they're just freaking slamming at corners of the house and stuff. It's like, it's genuinely like unnerving. That's freaky. And then also like the scene Drew is talking about with the baby monitor, there's those moments where it's like, it's not a scary scene, but it's like it's setting the mood so right for the scary scenes to happen. Like I love the scene. For some reason, this always sticks out to me when Meryl is taking out the trash, and he just looks at the cornfield, and he like just picks up a rock and throws it out there. And there's no music, and you're really highlighting the rustling of the wind and the rustling of the stalks together, and it's just kind of unnerving. Like you look out at the field and you're like, dude, they really could just be out there, and you wouldn't know. You know, like it is such a thickly populated, you know, cornfield that like,
yeah.
So there's a sense of like, once you know that there's something here, that tension just lives in scenes like that.
And they're like probably pretty far from the town too.
Yeah.
Like, cause they're, you know, like out in a like acres of land. So it's like they can't, if they try to leave, well, they have to drive through all of these fields.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I don't know. Like, this film does an incredible job of building the tension throughout the entire movie. Not just with like the alien stuff, but also the tension between the family members. And then like also building on like, the film gets like more and more claustrophobic as it goes on. I think it just, I don't know, like half the movie I feel like I'm just like holding on to my chair, and I'm like, you know, I'm just like having to hold my breath like half the time. And I think like that's just a sign. That's just a sign of M. Night really, really gets like that thriller kind of like suspense down just perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think this one in particular is like just my favorite, just in terms of the way that he builds tension.
Yeah. You know, we've kind of talked about it a lot already, and I think it's just the fact that we, even when we're just talking about it as a scary movie or talking about just the town, we're constantly brushing up against the characters and the themes. Like, we can't talk about any of this without bringing up something about it. And I think it's proof of like how tightly compacted this film is, that like the family and what they're going through just pervades every scene. So I feel like we should now really focus on them. Like I said, they're my favorite family unit in a movie ever. I love these people. I love their conversations. I love their relationships. So, I guess what are things that just really stick out for y'all with these characters? Just arcs or dynamics within. What does this family mean to y'all?
I also like obviously really love this family, but I really like the role that Meryl kind of steps into. He's not like the cool uncle or anything like that, but I feel like as the movie progresses, he kind of steps into more and more of like almost like an adoptive kind of father role, because like you have the crisis of faith going on with Mel Gibson's character, and I say all of this not to say that like he was like a terrible father or anything like that. I definitely think the movie makes it a good point that like he still absolutely cares about his family. That's the thing that he cares about the most. But I think like Meryl just kind of steps in and kind of, I don't know, just he's there for Graham's children when like maybe he like Graham is wrestling with his own stuff, and I don't know, Meryl just like sees the opportunity of like, hey, like someone's got to be like taking care of them right now. Again, not in a way of like negligence or anything like that. I just like that. I don't know. He just kind of like steps in and supports them when they really need it most. Especially because like if I was a kid during an alien invasion like that, I would be freaking out. And I think he has like a really good way of like leveling with the kids, like just getting on their level and like embracing putting on the hat, like embracing all of the like goofy alien invasion, alien conspiracy stuff. So I don't know. He's just like a character that I really love in this, and I feel like maybe he wouldn't get as much credit as Graham with Mel Gibson's character, since the film, I say like definitely focuses a bit more on him, but I think Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic in this role, and just the character in general is one of my favorites.
Yeah, he also gets kind of, there's a moment with Morgan where he gets really actually like fatherly a bit, where he's like, where Morgan says, "I wish you were my dad," and he says, "I don't ever say that again," and like just like being really stern with him, like he's there to help his brother. He's not there to take his brother's place. And the relationship between Morgan and Graham in particular is really interesting to me too. Morgan tells him that he hates him at one point, and
that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, like the way that they deal with, well, of course, a kid would find someone to place blame on for this, and that would be his dad in this situation, and then his dad just is so beat down by all of it that he can't fight. He just doesn't even fight him on it. He's just like, that's okay. Like, okay. And I do think for me, Graham is the one, obviously, like that stands out for the right from the beginning of the movie, him walking out of the bathroom with his robe on, and you see the cross, the faded where the cross used to be. It's not there anymore, but the outline of it's still there on the wall. And like James, you mentioned the storytelling they do without saying anything in that first bit tells you so much about what's going on. But I just find it really, really powerful how it brings in, he talked about, signs being there's signs as a thematic element in this movie, where yes, there's crop circles, but it's also, we're always looking for signs of
Why did this happen? What
why
does
did
this
this
mean?
happen. We're always looking for signs that there's someone else out there, that there's someone watching over us. And there's two types of people. That whole speech to Meryl, to me, was like, it's one of the best moments of the movie.
It's one of the greatest monologues to me ever.
It's incredible. And like, what is so great is like, the way that he's talking, when he's talking about the kind of person that believes that we're alone. When he's talking about that, he is like, you can tell that's the person that he is. The way that he's saying it, it's like, that's who Graham is right now. And I don't know, the growth from that to I hate you, to like believing that believing outside that the asthma attack closed his lungs so that the gas didn't get in. He's literally praying to God that he's alive, that he lives. And then at the end, I don't think it's cheesy at all. I think some people have said that it's cheesy, but what he said, basically, like, I can't remember the
Did
exact
somebody
line.
save me?
I think someone did.
Yeah, maybe. I think somebody did.
I think it's incredible. And that's the scene right there that I get really emotional.
It wrecks me.
I'm sobbing. Like,
His performance when he's like
yeah,
it's like,
Yeah.
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So, but I don't know, his journey through the movie. I think Mel Gibson does such a great job of like you said, Drew. Like, you don't get the sense that he's just dropped. It's not like he cares about nothing, and he cares about his family. He loves his family. He also he has a lot of things that he's not really processed, or maybe not even tried to process all the way, but he's just kind of, it feels like he's got a lot in there. And you see it all coming out in that I hate you scene. And I get chills thinking about that scene, just because of how real it is and how raw it is.
Yeah.
Ugh, to me, not Meryl.
Graham.
Yeah, Graham is the one that stands out the most for me.
The dinner table scene is
oh gosh,
so good. Yeah, Mel's performance there, again, amazing. Just, he's like, oh, I'll try some of this.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm not gonna waste one more minute. Not one minute.
Oh man,
It's so good. And what's so amazing about that scene is, like, Morgan, there is a lot of, like, getting things out there, and that Morgan says, I hate you, you let mom die. And you get Graham saying, vocalizing, like, we're not praying, we're not doing that. It's a waste of time. I'm not wasting my time on this. So you get people saying things, but there's also just, like, an unspoken emotional journey happens in that scene, where Morgan is crying and says, I hate you. And nobody's eating. Nobody can eat. And so, like Drew mentioned, he's eating everything. And then he just breaks down. And Morgan, who just told him he hates him, goes over to him and just hugs him. And Bo does the same. And I love when he grabs Meryl and pulls him in. But, like, just the fact that, like, again, in a lot of ways, things are being brought directly out into the open because of what Morgan says to Graham, because of what Graham says about everything, and Bo being scared and being the reason, she thinks, Morgan's like, I think we should pray. Bo has one of her feelings. And and all of that. So there's a lot being said, but there's also just so much kind of being unsaid. But it happens, and no words are said. No, I'm sorry, Dad, or it's just he breaks down and cries, and Morgan just sees his dad and goes and hugs him, and like it is so freaking beautiful. But I'm also with you and just absolutely loving Meryl as a character. I think that there's something that I really, really love about it is that it's highlighting two different things. Like it's highlighting his maturity and his lack of like kind of being out on his own. At the same time, where it's like he's 30 years old, he's not married, he's not really living at his own house because it's just like a second house, doesn't really seem to have like a legit career. So in a lot of ways, a lot of what they're telling us is he's kind of behind the milestones that you'd think he'd be at. And he looks up to Graham so much. His brother is like almost his everything to him. And there's this really just thoughtful balance that I think they achieve with him. That like he's young enough and a young brother in a way, like he needs his older brother. He recognizes, I need my older brother to look up to. I'm not where I need to be. I need the figure to look up to and embrace and try to be like. But he's mature enough to see that figure kind of at a really low place and to kind of be like, hey, listen, I can't see you like this. You have to be better so that I can look up to you. I love that. I love that scene that Michael had mentioned of just he's being there. He's being so supportive, and I love how much of a loving uncle he is too. Like when he hears Bo's scream, he jumps out of bed. He's like running down. He's like, he loves his niece and nephew so much, and I just think that's really touching. But like whenever Morgan says, "I wish you were my dad," like that hurts him, partly because I'm sure he kind of understands where Morgan's coming from, because he recognizes that he needs Graham to be more for him. But he's also hurt. There's a sense of like, that's my older brother and I love him and he's so amazing. Don't you ever talk about your dad like that. Don't talk about my, like this. So he's defensive of his brother as an older brother, as a father.
Yeah.
But then he has his
in
moment.
In a way, I feel like that also kind of reflects like Graham's own like struggle of like faith, like how he's like given up on that, and in a way it kind of feels like it juxtaposes with Morgan and Meryl telling him like, hey, don't give up on your dad, don't give up on your dad.
And it's also thinking about it now, it is like Graham isn't really being what anybody in the movie needs him to be fully. Like he's clearly not perfectly living as a father, because Morgan says to Meryl, I wish you were my dad. He's obviously not living perfectly as an older brother and a role model in that way, because I love the line whenever he is like, I can take a lot of things in life, but what I can't take is my older brother, who is everything I want to be, looking like you did last night. It's like, I saw the way your eyes looked. I don't ever want to see your eyes look like that again. Yeah. So he's not being the brother that Meryl needs him to be. And then he's just not being the priest that the town needs him to be. Everybody keeps calling him father, Yeah. And Tracy is like, with all the stuff going on, I'm really freaked out. I need to confess, I need. So it's like everybody in this movie has a role that they need Graham to be fulfilling. And again, it's not out of just like gross negligence or laziness, or like as we said, it's so clear he loves his younger brother. It's so clear he loves his kids. So it's not really that, but it is like he is living out of step with, who and what he needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he grows over the course of the film back into that role. He puts on the collar, by the end of the movie, he becomes a priest. People will call him father again. His kids will call him father, in a way that that they need to, and that they mean it, and I'm sure Meryl will begin to look at him again in the same way. So it's like over the course of the movie, there's all these different people that need Graham to be something, and his journey in the movie is getting back to being those things, to being that father, to being that priest, to being that brother. And I just think again, it's just the writing combined with the performances is just so good.
Yeah, again, I feel like M. Night is taking a simple premise and a simple story, but and like themes that anyone could understand, but my goodness, are the characters like layered upon layers upon layers. Man, I can't stop thinking about what you're just saying right now. That, like, the entire town needing him to be something, like the sheriff, even like her calling him father, still all the time. Like, that is, M. Night was cooking with this. Absolutely.
So, like again, it's one of those things. It's like it's not until you talk, at least for me, like it's not until I talk through some of that I'm like, he had this, like, I'm sure he was a lot more cognizant and aware of what he was writing as he did this, but I'm just now kind of picking it up after like 50 viewings of like, like this, the whole movie is about the roles he's not filling and how he grows to fill them.
Sorry, I had to get up.
No,
yeah, Kanan has been having night terrors.
Oh,
and he just had one, and they're awful.
Poor buddy.
Yeah, it's awful. But then he wakes up and he doesn't remember it. So
probably for the best.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's horrifying though. So sorry, but
we were just talking about like a central idea of the movie. It kind of feels like part of Graham's growth is that like everybody else in the movie kind of has a role that they need him to fill that he's not filling. It's like his children needing him to be a dad. And we know that because Morgan just straight up says to Meryl, "I wish you were my dad." And Meryl needing him to be a brother with the line, and again, it's the dialogue is so freaking good in this when he's when he says it's like there's a lot of things I can take, but something that I can't take is my older brother, who is everything I wish I could be, looking the way you did last night. He's like, I saw the way your eyes looked, and I don't ever want to see your eyes look like that again. So he's needing Graham to be the brother he was, and then the rest of the town is needing their priest.
Yeah, like that's such a good point. Wow,
that like everybody is looking to Graham as a stabilizing figure in whatever role he was to them, and he's not. And by the end, he is exactly. He's functioning in all the roles again. He is a father to his kids. He is a brother to Meryl. He is putting the collar back on. He is a priest. So it's not even like he's found his faith again. He's gone on his own arc, but he's also kind of becoming this pillar. He's filling this role that everybody that surrounds him in the movie needed him to be during the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's a great point, dude. I love that.
we were talking about we were talking about just before that spawn. We were going back to Meryl and just how like the he's written both as like not immature but kind of behind the milestones that you'd expect, you know, like with his, you know, not being married, living in a house connected to his brother's property, not really having a career, but mature enough to kind of know what he needs in his brother, and defensive of his brother, even if the point is valid. Like whenever he like chides and chastises Morgan when he's like, don't ever say that again. But he knows why Morgan's saying that, you know. It's just
right.
You still get a feeling of like, but you can't say that because that's my older brother and I love my big brother. And he's like, and sure, he's not what he needs to be for me or for you right now, but we don't talk like that about him. Which, like, it's just that, and you know, that line from Meryl about, you know, don't ever say that again. You can feel the love for his brother in that line.
Yes, 100%.
Like, it's like we don't talk about him like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I absolutely love what you said. I hadn't really pieced that together, but like, yeah, the Graham is not able to be what everybody needs him to be, and by the end of the movie, he is, and that even makes it come into focus even more. And I love that. It really just is. I just feel like I'm watching the scene right now, the ending scene where they were like, you know, Morgan almost dies, and they're like starting to accept that he might be gone, and Graham is not giving up, and just the fact that he's not giving up in that moment is so freaking powerful, and it shows how far he's come. And then
the look on Meryl's face when he hears it and he turns around and he's like,
literally just got chills. And again, the acting, the crying, how you even do that.
I know, like, did somebody like kill his mom offset? Like, what happened?
How do you make yourself do that when you know someone's just like recording it, like it's just a job? Like, I don't know how you do that. I really don't, but they do it so well, and it's super believable. And you know, just even like I love that shot too, after that, as that scene ends and it pulls back into that window that looks down on the playground, and it's like a broken window now, and then it pans around, and now we're in winter, and then it shows him like come out of the bathroom. It is again, I think this movie does that whole thing, show don't tell, incredibly well, you know. And I think we've talked before about this, but like, I don't think show don't tell is like 100% always 100% the thing that you
people talk about things in real life
have to do.
And like, he does it in this movie too.
And I always think about the scene in, I'm just gonna bring it up, The Last Jedi, where Luke is describing the things that we are hearing. We're hearing like voices like Han and whatever, like the people he loves dying, and he's describing it. It's Mark Hamill's performance that is really carrying that, rather than like they're showing it. And people always say that scene would have been so much better if they would have showed it and not told it. I couldn't disagree more.
I hate that idea.
I hate it so much. And, but like all that to say, I don't want to get. We don't have to get back into Last Jedi, but all that to say, this movie is it really does it at every turn show without telling, and it's for the better. And it is like powerful visual storytelling, and it all supports the characters. And I just think by the end of it, we're like sobbing with this family because we love them, you know. And that is why this movie is powerful. It's not because it is a cool movie. It's a cool, fun, scary movie. And it is really about this family, and it's about faith, and it's about finding faith again, finding yourself again, and grief and loss, and just getting to that point with this family is insanely powerful. It's almost like really the demon, like not the demon, the alien isn't the actual villain of the movie. Almost, it really is more like almost like doubt is the villain, or you know, the things that they have gone through as a family, that is the villain of this movie. And to see them like kind of overcome it in a way at the end, and then see him even further like put on that, you know, that
collar
garb. Yeah, I think it's just it's so beautiful and powerful.
And we don't have to really spend much on it, but you know, running through all of this is that idea of coincidence versus like providence, of, you know, is there such thing? I mean, I love whenever the alien is there in the house. The TV reveal is next level. It's so good.
Gosh.
And then the music is picking up, and the flashback starts of him telling his story, and he's just looking at the camera. Is it possible that there are no such thing as coincidences? And then he sees the bat. Oh man! But that idea of like there are no such things as coincidences is just running through the movie, down to like even the language used. Like whenever Graham is explaining what happened, you know, hear all the things he says, and he's like, "You want to know why she said that?" And Meryl is like expecting some profound answer, and he's like, it's because where the car had hit her had done such and such to her, so that her brain was it was randomly firing neurons, just random, could have been anything, just memories, you know, just coming there. There was no rhyme or reason to it. It was what it was. And then to find out that one of those was at a game, and her saying swing away, that idea like, no, it wasn't random, you know. I mean, even the language Ray Redding using, you know, like if I had just fallen asleep just a couple seconds, you know, it was almost like it was meant to be. And that scene is so good. Like again, this idea of it's all throughout of like, and we see it obviously most beautifully. Signs, you know. I could have been kissing Chrissy Tompkins while she was throwing up. I am a miracle man. But then we see this idea, and it's most like beautiful and triumphant with his lungs were closed, no poison got in. This is why he's had asthma. His asthma, this thing that has been like this creeping potential for death that's hung over him over the movie. Is his savior, is the miracle by the end. So just seeing all of that come together, of just like everything in this did happen for a reason. And you know, her germ thing with the water, you know, like everything, that just all these funny little things. It's like all of it ties in, all of it is there and arranged, you know. There is a hand in the arrangement of all of these events.
Yeah, just such a beautiful such a beautiful film, like about faith or things related to it. And you can watch this movie and even if someone isn't religious, I feel like they can find enjoyment out of it. They can find a lot of things out of it through the family itself. But I think like just looking at it from the aspect of faith that's like at the core of it, I think it's one of the most beautiful that I've seen in a film.
I want to claim it as a faith-based film so that it's not just
this is the greatest faith-based film of all time. I'm saying it now.
It's up there for sure.
You're right. Fireproof is number one.
Oh,
sorry, I don't need
courageous at number 2.
We don't need to be bringing specifics. I'm sorry, that was my fault.
But you get it's when these movies come along, I'll snatch them when I can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it does such a good job of like, I don't know, a very like realistic look at like falling out of faith or doubting, hitting a wall, plateauing, whatever you want to call it.
That scene of him just saying, confessing, like, I hate you. I hate you. Like the movie, like I appreciate that the movie goes there.
Yeah.
Like, this guy has hit his low. And he's saying it now.
And I really love that it ends the way that it does.
Yeah.
It ends in a very hopeful way. It ends with him like renewing his faith or rekindling it, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know. I feel like you don't really see that super often in a lot of movies.
I feel like a different movie that would have tried to be smarter would have left it more ambiguous what he did with it after that. But this movie's like, no, this is what it did,
Yeah.
I love that for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
by the way, James, sorry. You snuck in the name Chrissy Tompkins there, and I just wanted you to know
that. Is that thing you do?
Yeah, it is. And I just wanted you to know I see you.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, it's so in my mind that I didn't even realize that was that thing you do. It just felt like I tried to throw a random name out there and I can't escape it. So
Chrissy Tompkins?
Get out what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So but anyways, y'all have any last
Yes. I haven't talked about the music.
Oh, that's right. I was about to wrap it up.
Yeah. We can end it on the music for sure.
Yeah.
James Newton Howard needs to be talked about as one of the great composers that we have right now.
Yeah.
In film. We always talk about Hans Zimmer, rightfully so. We always talk about John Williams, obviously rightfully so. And Michael Giacchino, obviously great. There's a lot of great ones, but I feel like one that slips under the radar is James Newton Howard. I just don't feel like he gets the love that he deserves. His score for this movie is insane. It is incredible.
Yeah. From
the opening, like, Hitchcockian, like dun, 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 the credits. It starts you off in such an intense feel. You're like, what is this movie going to be? And then the rest of the movie, that stuff really doesn't come back in. That music doesn't come back in until later. Like, it does come back in when they're at the house and the aliens are coming in and stuff like that. But
it does set the pattern for that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it sets the oh no, I'm musician forgetting terms. Motif. Thank you. It sets the motif, and the motif is consistent in this movie. And the big thing that I wanted to talk about this is something I noticed, and I don't know, I'm gonna assume it's intentional because I think that I respect this guy this much. I just think he did this on purpose. But throughout the movie, most of the time you hear that 3-note motif. Bum 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 bum, and it's these like dissonant notes. And even if you listen to the main theme, it does those notes, and it's dissonant, and then it does change chords, and the notes change a little bit, but it's still very weird and dissonant feeling. It sets the tone for the movie really well. It's very mysterious. It's very a little bit off kilter, a little off putting. And so it really sets that weird mysterious undertone for the movie. And throughout the movie, we hear different variations of that 3-note motif. But at the end of the movie, when it gets to the scene where Morgan is having the asthma attack and Graham is having the moment where he's saying the asthma attack is preventing the poison from going into his lungs. It's blocking his lungs. Whatever. That moment, before, like, leading up to that, you had the 3-note motif as the weird dissonant version. Once he starts breathing, and once he says, does he say dad? I think he says dad, right? Once he says dad, it goes from this weird minor dissonant to a like major not dissonant note. And those 3 notes continue. 3 notes go, the pattern continues, but dun 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 dun. But it is now, instead of this weird feel, it is 3 notes, but every chord change, it moves with it. It is actually like, it is in harmony with it, and it feels like now Graham is in harmony with his soul. Like Graham is actually in harmony with the way that he's feeling the role now that he's supposed to be feeling. And it feels like when that shifts, the music does the same thing. And now we still have, like I said, we still have that 3-note dun 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 dun, but it is now shifted into this beautiful major feel that moves with the chord progression. And as Jack Black says in The Holiday, it uses only the good notes. And the music in that moment, I believe the track is called The Hand of Fate Part 1 and The Hand of Fate Part 2. That is the whole like finale track. The Hand of Fate Part 2, where that happens, it is one of my favorite, one of my new favorite movie scores. It's sweeping, and it's beautiful, and it's heart-wrenching, and I don't know. I wanted to bring that up because I felt like, I love when composers have a motif that they bring in, but they change it depending on what's going on. And I love that it was, for so much of the movie, it was just kind of the same, mysterious feel. But when things shift at the end, so does that motif. And it is like one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. And it's thematically relevant to the movie. And I just think that's such a cool touch. And so, yeah, James Newton Howard is like the man. I just wanted, I don't hear people talk about him enough as one of the best. I wanted to make sure that we gave him.
And it's not just like his work here alone is great. Like, he has so many scores that he's done over the decades that have been top tier, like that are just as great as Hans Zimmer and John Williams' work. And heck, he even did Batman Begins and The Dark Knight with Hans Zimmer.
And everybody talks about Hans Zimmer. They don't talk about him.
But James Newton Howard was a huge contributing factor, even to like the Dark Knight trilogy theme. Yeah. And so he needs credit.
His work on A Hidden Life is just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, as if I needed another reason to watch that movie. Also, he did The Village, which also goes very hard. Awesome. Yeah, that violin.
And he did King Kong 2005, which is a phenomenal score too.
Yeah,
I gotta watch that. And Maleficent. I'm just kidding.
Probably has a great score, honestly.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
I've got nothing to add to what Michael said, except
I don't either.
Because I don't have any of the technical speech. I can only say I freaking love the score. I think that the credit track is like fewer things hype me up like that. Like whenever the violin is just like the, like you just know you're like, okay, something, and then it just immediately hits you with a da-na-na, da-na-na as the credits roll. That whole sequence just feels like the movie's like throwing the credits at the wall at a certain point as it's going like dun 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 dun. Oh,
Yes.
it's so freaking good. It really is one of my favorite scores ever. So, all right, let's get last thoughts and ratings. Drewby, let's start with you.
All right, we'll start with me. I might cough my lungs out real quick, so I do apologize for the choppiness of this. I'll try to edit it as much as I can. Hold up. Anyways, yeah, I think that I mean, talk about a perfect score. This is a perfect movie. This is an all-time favorite of mine now. And we've talked about, Michael keeps bringing up like, guys, I think this is a top 10. James is like, yeah, I gotta stop fighting it. It probably is. And I'm the same way. I really think that this is like up there for me for sure. I like, it's got all the things that I love. It's got characters with an incredible amount of depth that you fall in love with, and just like want nothing but the best for that family. It's got an amazing score. It's got incredible like just vibes with the alien invasion.
The vibes are so
good. Good vibes.
It's funny. It's
Freaking
terrifying
hilarious.
at times.
Vamonos!
Stop her ass whooping.
I cursed. I
heard.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm insane with anger.
You got an incredible cast. You've got, a perfect just crescendo of tension throughout the entire movie. And it's directed brilliantly. It's written so well. Like, I don't know. Like, this is one of those things where it's like you don't get much more perfect than what you have here. And I think it's a shame that like people don't, like, not as many people view it as such.
Does not have the reputation.
Yeah, and that's not to say like it's not like it's got low scores on everything. Like, people still rate it well, but it really doesn't get the credit that it deserves. But yeah, this is just such a fantastic movie, and is one that's like endlessly rewatchable too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I echo all those thoughts. I totally agree with all of that. I just think it is super rewatchable, very powerful. It is one of those movies that I'm going to now that like I'm back to this movie. Now that me and this movie are back together, I'm not letting it go. I'm going to start watching this at least once a year, maybe more. Maybe I'll make it a double feature with The Village every year, just cuz. But I adore this movie. I because of all of the history that I have with this movie, already loving it before, having seen it so many times, and now as an adult watching it a couple more times, it has really like it's like penetrated where like it's like gotten into the point where movies like Whiplash have gotten, or like Interstellar has gotten, or freaking Shawshank Redemption has gotten. Like, for me, all time, these are in my top 10. I can't say that I don't know why would I not put this in there at this point? I think it's a top 10 for me. And deciding what to kick out is tough. But that's always our struggle. But it is a top 10 for me. I think just everything you mentioned, Drew, from a technical perspective, the drama, the thematic elements, the emotional weight of it, it all comes together in this symphony. It's gorgeous. It is a wonderful, beautiful movie, and it's a freaking great time too. And again, all-timer score. It's so good. 5 stars. It is an easy 5 stars.
Yeah. There's not really a lot of bouncing around between differences because I agree with all of that. I love this movie. I love its vibes. It is like rewatchability is a big point to this one of like, gosh, somebody says, I haven't watched Signs for a while. I'm like, whoa, Signs. We watching Signs? Like,
what you doing tonight?
Yeah, like I'm down to watch it so often. I love its vibes. It is hilarious and never in a way that takes away from the movie. Because I can be big about that sometimes of like, why do we have to undermine? This is never, the humor is never going against the grain of the drama. It is such a funny movie, and I think that adds to the rewatchability. But the drama is so great, and I really do. I think it's such a beautiful and very like the relationships and the dialogue. There's such a tenderness to it that is so emotionally affecting to me. When Graham describes their births to his kids, like, oh my gosh, that scene is just, they said babies couldn't smile, but you smiled. And just how different it was describing Morgan's, but like no less beautiful to him. Hi Morgan, I'm your mom. Like that, just that there. I love it. I love this movie. I love these characters so much. I love the themes. I love the score. I love the vibes. I love absolute like head to toe, top to bottom. This
movie's got everything
except for romance, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't really have that so much.
You got love lost, in a way. You feel the loss of the wife, but yeah, I really, really do love this movie so much, and for me, it's got the staying power. Like I've watched it countless times at this point. It emotionally affects me more than almost any other movie, not Lord of the Rings, really. And I love it. So I think it's probably got to end up being a top 10 for me. And it's an easy 5-star for me. There's nothing. I wouldn't change anything. I love it as is completely. So
that brings us to our ratings, dude. 5 stars across the board.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole aliens would that the movie already. What people don't to just address that stupid.
Let's go. Let's do it.
The general guy already said what they were doing. It is a scouting mission.
Mm-hmm.
That was why they were here. They were here to look around. They found out it was inhospitable to them, and they left. Why is that a plot hole? Like, it's not. It's not as if the movie says they dumped off their entire alien population and then were like, oh, frick, this was a mistake. They dropped off their scouts. That's all they sent. Like, it's not. And I love that, like, the fact that there's an alien there is teased up because we know that Graham chopped off fingers. And then in a super quick in passing line, Meryl says, I think they've just like left their wounded, but they've taken off. Mm-hmm. And like nobody's stopping to think in the moment, but like left their wounded. Oh no. Like,
right.
So yeah, it's such a, people are, there movies, some movies do have plot holes. Plot holes are a real thing. This is not one of them. It's just not. Mm-hmm. So shut up about it.
I feel like plot hole is like a favorite thing that people just like to say when they don't like something for whatever
reason with this one. I don't know why this one is so picked on like that.
Yeah, it's dumb. But everything you just said, I was joking. I was like, wait, we actually didn't cover that.
It's such a non-criticism to me.
Yeah. And the way that it is implemented into the words, the last words that she said before she passed, swing away, Merle. And he sees that glass, the water glasses everywhere. It's awesome.
It is. The shot.
I even like the effect that the CGI effect of the water, like almost acting as an acid on the skin.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Also, the effect of the camouflage, the screaming face on the back is so cool.
Also, and I also love the shot where the water pours down on the camera lens too.
Yeah,
that's cool. But anyway,
that's Signs. So now
13. Sorry,
we have Signs to wrap this thing up. So let's go do that. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, left some comments. Also, we got a couple of new subscribers tonight, so that's pretty cool. So thank you for that. If you're listening on the podcast feed, make sure to give us the 5 stars. You can also leave comments on Spotify now. So if you want to do that, you can do that there as well. So make sure you follow us on your favorite platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And then you can also join our Facebook group where we chat about movies and TV and all that fun stuff. All those things are in the link tree in the description below. If you haven't already, go see One Battle After Another before you see Tron Ares. But yeah, go support your local theaters. There's a lot of movies out right now. There's a lot of movies that are going to be coming out really soon, like Shelby Oaks, which, hey, we're live streaming on YouTube right now. And Chris Stuckman, we are a fan of Chris Stuckman. And he's
who adores this movie, by the way.
Who adores Signs.
Yes, he loves Signs. We forgot to mention that he has a beautifully written review, and also I think he made a video review of Signs as well.
He did.
Go check those out. His new movie Shelby Oaks is coming out next week. That's gonna be rad.
Support
the Black Phone 2. It's coming out this weekend.
That's gonna be rad.
There's a lot of cool spooky movies on the horizon. And then we also got The Running Man coming out in a couple of weeks. And a lot of other
Wake Up Dead Man.
Yes, Wake Up Dead Man, Avatar 3, and a lot of cool, indie films coming out here and there that look good. Go support your local theaters, buy those concessions because it really helps them out. And we will see y'all next time.